They're unpredictable. They can also be very dangerous, especially when lots of them are gathered together. Monster hunters are advised to avoid areas where too many children are found and go instead to safer places such as snake-infested jungles. Better safe than sorry. I felt like I'd looked at that page 100 times already this morning, and each time the words on the cover had been different. That was another of the book's magical qualities. The title constantly changed depending on who was holding it and how they were feeling at that moment. Right now, it was called Monster Hunting for Boys Who Wish They Could Disappear. The reason was, it was my first day at a new school, and I'd always been shy about meeting people. I'd rather face a monster any day. I stood at the school gate, peering through the bars at all the children tearing round the yard, and my stomach started churning. I wasn't just scared. I wasn't just terrified. I was scarified. "Don't worry," said Nancy. Nancy is my best friend. She's also my only friend of my own age. Stoop is my friend too, but he's 200 years old. I met her when I first came to King's News. She'd helped me defeat a whole army of monsters led by Aunt Prudence. She wasn't really my aunt, but that's another story. Literally. Now we saw each other every day, and often headed off on adventures together. "The kids here are no different from you and me," Nancy said as the minutes ticked down to the fateful moment when I'd have to step through the gate. "Well, they're a bit different from you and me because they don't fight monsters, but you know what I mean." She squeezed my hand reassuringly. Unfortunately, Nancy doesn't know her own strength, so it did make me scream a bit. The sound was drowned out by the bell ringing to mark the start of the school day. I was about to embark on my most terrifying mission ever. I took a deep breath and walked in. School days. Nancy was right. 9 times out of 10 she was, as she's asked me to point out. It wasn't too bad, even if the other children all looked at me as if I was a film they'd come to see, and they were wondering when it was going to start and if it would be worth watching to the end. The teacher introduced me. "Say hello to Jack, everyone," she said. "Hello, Jack," everyone said back. Miss Higgins asked me to say a few words so that the other children could get to know me. I told them my mother was dead and I'd moved here to King's News with Dad. I didn't say anything about my parents being monster hunters back in the day, or that I was one now, too. In my old school, the kids had teased me for believing in monsters. Thankfully, these kids didn't laugh at me. They were too busy laughing, in a good way, at Angela, who made the sound of a trombone every time she farted. Which she did an awful lot. If you don't know what a trombone sounds like, it's exactly the same as one of Angela's farts. Miss Higgins didn't think it was funny and kept saying, "Angela, is that absolutely necessary?" And, "I really think you should see a doctor. That doesn't sound at all healthy." It was weird to think I'd saved everyone here from an invasion of ogres just before the start of the summer holidays. None of them remembered what had happened, because that's the way it is with monsters. Sometimes it's better to forget. "I told you there was nothing to be scarified about," said Nancy as we sat eating our sandwiches at lunchtime. "Nothing out of the ordinary ever happens in school." She was wrong about that. It doesn't happen often, just 1 time out of 10, as I previously mentioned, which is why I remembered it. "Not now, Arthur." It was the end of my first week at school, and we were all outside playing rounders. I couldn't see the point of being good at games. Nobody ever died because they were bad at them. Apart from that boy in the Isle of Wight last year, and everyone knows it was his own fault for playing tennis when he didn't have a ball. He used a grenade instead. We were sorted into teams, and Miss Higgins tossed a coin to see who'd bat first. Nancy